the other day, I made a post that I have partnered with Blackout Coffee Company. And I think some people were a little bit confused, especially this guy. If you can't read, none of us can help you. Blackout Coffee Company. Ridiculously good coffee, better people, and even better values as a company. These are my two favorites currently, Morning Reaper and Brutal Awakening. For every bag they sell, 2 cups of coffee will be donated to our troops that are currently deployed, and they're also giving you a discount. The link's below the video. Try it out and support a company that is like you and I. So I pinned a comment on one of my last videos and I asked everyone who would be better for the Second Amendment, Trump or DeSantis? Now, I'm just going to say all of the other issues that are going on in America, I think they would be the exact same. I think they'll both do an excellent job, but personally, I think the game changer for me is going to be the Second Amendment. Why? Well, if people can't defend themselves, or it's extremely hard to because there's so much gun control in place, all the other stuff doesn't matter because you're going to be dead. Because a robber is probably going to shoot you in the face. So before we get into either one of these, I want to start by saying that you can say whatever you want in life. Words are cheap, and ultimately how people figure out what you're about and what your priorities are is if your words and your actions line up. We can have anybody go up on a stage and say, yeah, I 100% support the Second Amendment. Well, what does that mean exactly? Does that mean the new version of the Second Amendment? Like some gun laws are okay? I support the Second Amendment as long as this is banned. I support the Second Amendment as long as the background checks are this long. I support the Second Amendment as long as this type of weapon isn't allowed. I personally want a presidential candidate that will go up there and say the Second Amendment is absolute. I want someone to go up there and say we have so many issues in this country and so many people are dying not from guns. Guns is a very small number. I want someone to go up there and uncomplicate it. There is a beautiful thing about simplicity. And if any candidate truly believes that gun control does not work, there should be none. Put the money into something else. Put the research into something else. All right, guys, so let's start with Trump. Who remembers this?
But again, we also want things that can be approved. You have to look at the age of 21 for certain types of weapons. I mean, some people aren't going to like that, but you're going to have to look at that very seriously. And don't worry about bump stock. We're getting rid of it where it'll be out. I mean, you don't have to complicate the bill by adding another 2 paragraphs. We're getting rid of it. I'll do that myself because I'm able to. Fortunately, we're able to do that without going through Congress.
Now look, we can get into conspiracy theories and all that as far as why this took place, how this happened, and why someone like Trump would back something like this. But look, we all make mistakes, we all make stupid decisions, but whenever the debates happen between Trump and DeSantis, that is a time to own this mistake. No Republican presidential candidate or president in general should be talking about gun control at all. At all. Period. None. If you believe in what this country was founded on, if you believe in the principles that America has, it's a waste of your breath. I would like somebody to ask him during the debate between him and DeSantis what the thought process was. Because unlike how the media tries to portray it, gun control is absolute. It's either you're for it or against it. And if you're for it, you need to have some logic behind it. What proof is there that it works? There is none. If you ban something and somebody wants to commit a crime, they're just going to find an illegal way to go get it. Gun control goes against human nature to its core. Period. So I personally would like to know why this ever happened. Now let's move on to DeSantis. Now, one thing DeSantis has going for him is he wasn't a president. So he didn't necessarily have to make these decisions, hasn't necessarily had the pressures of being a president. And as far as what he has said, it lines up as completely support the Second Amendment. He wants more guns in Florida. He believes in it. But then this happens.
Washington Post even uncovered evidence showing that the DeSantis campaign tried to blame the city of Tampa or the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, FDLE, for illegally turning the campaign events into gun-free zones. But it turns out the finger-pointing wouldn't make that problem magically disappear. No, it was the campaign itself that was breaking state law to disarm law-abiding citizens.
So this reads, DeSantis' campaign wanted guns banned at election night event. So he has an event for people who were clear Second Amendment supporters, and they can't carry guns there. So obviously a little bit sketchy on that point. Now the thought process could be that he doesn't want some dude who doesn't like him going in there with a gun and trying to shoot him. But do you think that matters? If they're going to try to sneak it in, they're going to try to sneak it in regardless of if they're allowed or if they're not. So once again, gun control doesn't make any sense. So moral of the story is both of them have had their turns with interesting bouts of gun control. Now we're a little bit far off from the elections and all that, but I think it's time that we start looking at it, because whichever one is going to be stricter on the ATF, on the FBI, and on retracting all of this gun control, that's who's getting my vote. All the other stuff, they're going to be the same on. They're both going to do a good job. The Second Amendment, that's a deal breaker for me.